What is going on, YouTube? Pass the Prop is back. We're here on Thursday morning for your Thursday night football bets. Obviously, yesterday was our supposed to be show. We were supposed to be live there, but again, another Thursday game, more injuries. We can't get away from it. So joined by my guy Stu today. Thursday morning again, coming at you with another early one. Are you up and ready or what?
Yeah, you got to be, right? I mean, hey, Trevor Lawrence decides he doesn't want to play. The line moves 4 points. Oh, suddenly Trevor Lawrence is good. We're ready to go. I don't know why you're rushing your quarterback back on the short week unless he's fine, unless he's actually pretty good. And that's what the reports this morning indicate. Everything said that he's expected to play unless something goes awry, right? So it didn't hurt to wait a little extra time. I know it may be more inconvenient for some people watching, 9:30 in the morning. But like we always say, if you're not here live, you can always drop those comments, in the comments section. We'll be here 24/7, Twitter, DMs, Discord, all that stuff. We're here to answer your questions. So appreciate the people that can make it live in the morning. But hey, we got you all covered here.
Yeah, and I was saying this to you before. I'm like, what a switch up from how good that game, and not great. The game wasn't great, but it was just good teams. Now you got this shit. I gotta watch this. This is garbage. This is just hot garbage. Literally, that's what it is. My only fantasy that I want to start in this is probably Brandon McManus, because that dude kicks balls from about 70 yards away. It's pretty much the only guy you want to start here. And my boy Evan Ingram, because he's my boy. So it's just ugly. 39, bro. 39 total after a 50 on Monday.
Yeah, and hey, the kicker mention isn't bad. I've been doing pretty good on these kicker props this year. Maybe that's not a bad idea. I wasn't thinking about special teams quite yet. That's more normally the DGen hours when you really give up on every other bet and you're like, what about the kickers? Maybe the kickers will go over. And that's the vibe for today. So I actually like that look. I'm going to have to look a little closer at those props.
Yeah, bro. He's indoors too, bro. Sign me up for some Brandon McManus. But 15 of you guys in here first couple minutes. We appreciate you. Might as well get into our recap. Hey, we always like doing the double winner recap here, huh?
Yeah, man. I'm sorry to the people that had rush yards, but I'm kind of glad it went exactly how we said. Because we've been doing this.
I don't feel bad. I don't feel fucking bad. Why do I feel bad? They weren't watching. They weren't tailing then.
Yeah, I got empathy out there, But at the end of the day, it went well. Like we said, that long reception, that explosive play. You never know if it's going to be the rushing game or receiving game. Glad Tony Pollard could get it done. It's looking a little scary right there, but he got the job done for us.
Yeah, it was funny. I literally texted you probably about 4 minutes before this happened, and I'm like, dude, this guy's a fucking bum. And that was a reverse jinx right away. Dude gets it. Funny part is I said the same shit about my boy Herbert, and then he just started chucking the ball. I bet you had 9 or 10 of them pulled back from penalty. That was probably the worst fucking game I've ever watched ref. Hopefully they all lose their job out on the street or be in the XFL or Canadian Football League if you want. I don't give a shit because they're ass. Bro, you should have 40 penalties in that game, bro. Half the shit was like ticky-tack, bro. Like, call the real shit. Like, I don't need this. That game was like 4.5 hours. I swear to God, dude. I was just sitting there watching them talk. I'm like, I don't want to see you. That's not what I'm here for. Cash is on the last play, throws a pick on it. Quick story time. I was down 2.5 points in that 14-team league with my fiance's family league, and I'm trying to run that shit, right? I'm trying to run it up, right? And I'm down 2.5 because I forgot I had Cowboys defense, right? So I was winning. I'm like, this is locked up. I had Joshua Palmer and Dallas's defense. They go down, score with Gerald Everett. Now I'm down 2.5. I'm like, fuck, dude, I'm done. Like, I need him to get the ball back. Cowboys score. I'm like, yes, they gave him at least 2 minutes. Herbert's about to kill this shit. Throw it to Joshua Palmer. Throw it to Keenan Allen. Oh, no, we want to decline the penalty, or we want to take the penalty, so now it doesn't count for an attempt. So I'm just like, oh, my God, I need this to happen, and I need Herbert to throw the fucking ball. So he throws it. They get a sack on third down. Gets me a point. I'm only down 1.5 points. I'm like, it is now 4th and 16. I need him to throw this to Joshua Palmer, or I am going to lose. Second best thing, Herbert hits our 37 attempts and throws a pick, so my defense gets 2 points and I win by half. So I'm like, I have never been so happy to have a defense in my life. It was sketchy as hell, sweaty for the bet, sweaty for that. But we did have our giveaway. we did have our giveaway. I said if we swept it, we get that out. I did post the winner on the last video. It was a guy who watches a lot. I've seen his stuff in here. He had it at, I believe, it's like 348 or something like that. And it ended up being 247 and 110 for total yards on those, because Herbert obviously got his 20 rushing yards in there as well, which we were talking about before. He did get there.
Yeah, no, that was a good spot right there. Obviously, it's always funny when the story works out like that. You get so many bad beats over the course of the year that it's good to get the fantasy dub and the betting dub. That's a rare combination right there.
Never happens, bro. It doesn't. It's few and far between, but hey, we take it. We'll take it. So onto this garbage. Oh no, where we're at now, 24 and 20, 6.7 units. Don't want to pass that up. Obviously, still very happy. We had that little cold spell after that absolute heater for 3 weeks straight. Now we're starting back moving right in the right direction here. So let's kind of talk about this game for as little as we want. I'm fine with just skimming through this shit and getting to bets, but we have the Jaguars traveling to New Orleans. Talk about a travel schedule for Jaguars, man. Damn, they're everywhere. Absolutely everywhere. They are a 2-point dog on the road. Money line at plus 105, 40 total, 39.5 on FanDuel now. Stu, where are we looking here? Is there, out of the 4 sides, where are we looking?
I mean, it's got to be the under, right? What have the Saints gone under in 15 straight games? Something absolutely insane like that. I mean, they play these under games. These are 2 bottom 10 teams in pace. These are 2 borderline top 10 defenses. The Saints are. Jacksonville's a little borderline, maybe like 13, 12, something like that. But man, to be honest, with the Trevor Lawrence news, you'd think the line would move back up, right? It was at 41 earlier in the week. And then obviously with the news of CJ Beathard possibly starting to move down to 39.5, it hasn't moved back since. So even with Trevor Lawrence, it's still staying a little lower. I was hoping there'd be a little buyback in the market and we'd be able to take advantage of that. But no, it looks like we're stuck with the 39.5. But even with that, criminally low number, I still think I got to lean the under. I think this is just a slow-paced game, 2 teams that want to control the ball and keep the other offense off the field. So I like the under in this one. A side is so hard. I mean, I like the Saints as dogs, because the Saints cover. Even if it's a 3-point spread, they play those close games. They make you kick that field goal to beat them at the end. But man, now asking them to essentially win in this game, that doesn't really make any sense to me. I don't want to do that. But I also don't really want to back Jacksonville right now in this spot either. So just a pass on the spread, and I'll take the under if I had to choose.
Yeah, if I had to pick a side, I'm definitely taking Jacksonville, bro. I mean, I'll put that money on it now when I'm still getting plus money, because it ain't going to stay there if he does go. And I just can't trust the Saints team, bro. I just watching them last week against an inferior rush defense in Houston, absolute, probably bottom 5 run defense? Dude, they get shredded. They couldn't do anything. I don't trust Derek Carr. Dude should still be in a hospital bed. His shoulder can't move, bro. Give me some Jameis Winston, then I'll bet on the fucking Saints. I ain't betting on him with Derek Carr's 1.2 yards per attempt. Fuck that. I'm definitely, if I'm rolling with somebody, I'm rolling with Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah, and also look at the Saints wins or close victories or covers this year. It's not against good teams. They're not playing top shelf opponents. It's a lot of division matchups. The Panthers in there. We had the Bucks in there earlier. Your Packers are, a mid-level, bottom-level team right now. Like we don't have any super impressive victories. So to me, it's very hard to back the Saints. But also the only other argument is the line. I mean, when you look at it, it's telling you to bet Jacksonville. Right? Jacksonville is clearly the better team in this game, assuming Trevor Lawrence starts, obviously. And also, we didn't talk about it, but the Saints are one of the worst coach teams in the league. I mean, Allen is a defensive-minded head coach, which nothing wrong with that, but you need to have one of these young hotshot offensive coordinators to call the shots if you're going to do that style of play, and they just don't. They don't manage the clock well. They're extremely boring. They're very slow. This is not a good offensive team. I think you're going to need that against a well-coached team on the other side right here.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see them get booed out of the stadium tonight in that spot, obviously at home against Jacksonville here, dude. Like I said, it's who do I trust, bro? And I'd rather, if I'm betting on like the Saints, right? Who am I hoping make plays, right? You have Olave pretty much, and that's it.
Yeah.
I don't trust any of those other guys to make any big plays. Then you go to the other side, you got ETN, touchdown machine. Ingram, moving the ball up and down the field. Christian Kirk, Calvin Ridley. Like, this ain't even close. I'm really curious to see what Marshawn Lattimore does in this game, if he's going to shadow, what he's going to do. Hey, my boy, though, cooked his ass this weekend. Nico Collins out there putting in that work without his number 2 receiver. And he still put that work on him. So 4 for 80, I'll take that all day. Obviously, hit every one of his props. But yeah, definitely.
And I see Chad in the chat too talking about the O-line injuries. Is Sheriff questionable or is he out yet? I know that's my guy from DC. I love Sheriff. Okay, he's a baller out there. But I saw he's questionable. I know they're down another offensive lineman, obviously. But I see. The Saints argument is, I think it's pretty simple. Good defense, short week, quarterback injury, road, environment, right? The Saints used to be one of the best home field advantages in the league. I don't know if it's as strong nowadays. The Saints fans will have to tell me. I don't know if they're still showing up for Derek Carr like they were Drew Brees, but I don't know. They are the better defense, that's for sure. But
who?
The Saints are the better defense, but you got to trust them on the other side of the ball, and I don't know if I can do that.
I don't even know if I say they're better defense, to be honest. It's tough because like it's just adjusted. You have I wish they had like the adjusted numbers like college does, right? Like where it's like who you played matters, bro. They like Jordan Love cooked them, bro, and Jordan Love just got cooked by everybody. Like that's all I'm saying. Like they have the weakest schedule I've ever seen. That's why I was seeing so many people bet on them right this year, and yeah, it's just. I think this Jacksonville team I think they're nice, dude. I do. I actually kind of think they're nice. They would get up a lot of garbage time points like last week, right? They could have just ran those guys over like 35-3, but hey, prevent defense will switch up how many yards you give up, right? They just said, hey, Gardner, I know you're going to turn the ball over at the 20-yard line anyway. We'll let you get your 40 yards, and then you can give it to us, and then we'll just take some time off. But, I thought I'd give a good shout out to Gardner Minshew just being absolute ass. That was awful.
It was tough. Hard to watch. 3 picks. Hopefully it doesn't happen again this week. We'll see.
All right, let's take a look at the chat, guys. We'll take a look at everybody in here, and then let's just get right into props. I know we do have a hard deadline today. Want to make sure we get everything in there. We got Jay Wells in here. Welcome, my friend. First guy in the chat. Happy to see you in here. We'll get to your questions there after we run through both the bars here. Bunch of injuries on the O-lines. Yeah, I think there's a lot of injury news that still needs to come out. That's why if we did this yesterday, how fucking blind would we be? We would have been so blind trying to pick a spot here. Crazy. I'm reading this still. Is this right? Tyrann Mathieu ATD?
I mean, he had
or
one
is he just trolling right now?
I mean, I don't think he's trolling. I think you can technically bet that.
Can you bet on it? Or is it just a defense?
You can bet specific players now, apparently. It's not widespread, though.
I was going to say, I've never seen that.
It's like Bet Rivers or whatever, I think, or even like a even smaller book, maybe. I don't remember. I just see it on Pickett every once in a while when I'm scrolling for defensive props. I would not recommend betting a single defensive player individually for a touchdown. But hey, it would
maybe sacks. That's the only thing defensively I would ever touch is sacks and maybe a little sprinkle on an interception. Because you know how many things have to go right to get a pick six?
I was gonna say
so many things. Chad and IG speaking some truths in there. We're gonna be talking about that. It's gonna be something I'm gonna bring up quite a bit here in my bet here. Stu, let's just do this thing, huh? Let's just get right into it. We still got fantasy to talk about. Still got my fantasy conundrum of the week that's been making my head spin. And let's just get right into it. Let's go.
Yep. I'm going Alvin Kamara, 4 receptions, ETN 2 catches, -109 over on FanDuel Sportsbook right here. At the beginning of the week, I looked at this game and literally just said, I only want to play these running backs. Like, I don't want to play. Are you good? What's going on over there?
Bro, I just got my update that I needed. I needed that update, and it just fucking came through on stream, bro. So now
update
I'm like,
for what?
huh?
Okay, you can. My bad. I'm sorry. I was just like, I don't know what's going on right here. It sounds like you just started listening to music. I don't know. Oh, Jamal Williams will play Thursday. Okay. Starts dancing as soon as I start talking.
Dude, he literally said that right when you started. I'm like, and then I just like, oh, it's just gonna keep going. Just gonna keep going here.
There you go. Well, maybe they'll give you a segment where you can start dancing every show for the people. How about that? But we're going back to my props right now. We're going Alvin Kamara to have 4 receptions, ETN, 2 catches right here over on FanDuel Sportsbook. I kind of talked about earlier. I see an under game script. I see a kind of game where both teams are really fighting to keep possession all game. That's what Jacksonville has been doing all year long. And we know the Saints are obviously an extremely slow offense. Right now, FanDuel is the only spot with that 4 receptions still available for Kamara. They have 4 even, or sorry, the 3.5 at juice, right? It's minus 180, while every other book has 4.5. So for me, I like going to reception down right here and pairing it with the ETN catches, which is hit in every game so far this year. That's obviously the much easier leg in this one. Extremely consistent. When he's the starter, he's hit 2 receptions in every game, right? So I'm not worried about that leg whatsoever. The game script should be very good for it. Kamara is obviously the tougher ask right here, but we've seen so far, man, 23 catches. Obviously had that huge blow up game, but then cashed this last game with 7 catches on 8 targets. The one time he missed was that blowout game script, obviously, where they completely destroyed the Patriots. And in that game, he even still had 3 catches. So it's not like, it's too bad right there. Obviously, that was an awful game script that I'm not expecting here. Obviously, they're favored in this game. So if they were blown out 34-0, that would be pretty insane. I'm expecting a close game, a competitive script right here. And man, Kamara has been an absolute target hog so far this year. He's a 33% target share against zone coverage, and they're going against one of the most zone heavy teams in the league in the Jacksonville Jaguars. I said 33 right there. That's 1/3, right? That's not nothing, okay? That's a serious number for a running back right there. And if you've watched any Saints game, you've seen it, right? And on the other side, Jacksonville is allowing not only the second most targets to running backs, they're also allowing the second most catches to running backs as well. So it's kind of perfect right here. We get a guy who's dominating his offensive usage. He gets a coverage scheme that he's very good against. And now he gets a team that's absolutely bleeding these yards to running backs. We just saw Moss and Taylor destroy their line. So far, every running back this season has gone over their receptions total against this team. It makes a ton of sense logically when you look at how the way they play the game. They want to keep everything in front of them. They want to limit explosive plays. They're going to bring those safeties back a little bit, and the linebackers are going to be in protection mode. And it's been working very well so far. It's kind of what you're saying earlier. It's that bend but don't break style, right? Where you let them get moved down a little bit, but you're limiting those explosive plays. You're keeping everything in front of you. And that should be perfect for Kamara, who's going to be the clear dump down option here. And finally, Jacksonville's pretty solid at getting pressure on the quarterback. We love that you can get those little dump downs, force him out of the pocket, and obviously let Kamara do all the work right here. So 4 catches is pretty bad. That's even available. I would have it on 4.5 every book, and it would not be plus money if it were me setting the lines as well. That would be a minus 120 spot right there. So I think the market is still undervaluing Kamara. Oh, he's just got him back, but I'm not too worried at all. I think he has a very good game here through the air.
Yeah, and I need to get this out right away. I'm seeing it move a little bit already now with the Jamal Williams news. This was just minus 106. DraftKings just took it down. FanDuel's bringing it down now. This was literally minus 106. Like what? You just grabbed this line for me like what, 5 minutes ago?
Yeah, 5 minutes.
Fuck. I really like this spot. You look at those last couple weeks, right? He crushed this line. He crushed it. And then you open it up at a 14.5 line. And it's like, why? Why are you giving me this line? And short week, probably the most inefficient running back I've ever seen run the football. 3.6 yards per carry against Houston. Bro, I could fucking do that. Just run me straight into a fucking back of somebody, and you're getting 3 yards, right? You look at him as well. Only 2.7 yards before contact. I expect that to be lower after this game with how many injuries are on the lines for both teams. That's why I said both you guys talking about it. I appreciate all you guys dropping in some knowledge in there as well. IG brought up another great point here. The corner injuries for Jacksonville. Why would you not want to throw the ball on the outside? Why would you not want to give your quarterback those opportunities against a weaker portion of this defense, right? I would rather do that than run up the middle on these guys, try to run all these spots. But now you got Jamal Williams back. I think those yards in between the tackles are going to him now. They should, because Alvin Kamara is not doing anything with them. Like, back-to-back weeks with 3.6 yards per carry, and they gave him 41 carries. Like, he just came off like his suspension. So, yeah, maybe we can just load him up right away. Maybe we just load him up and see what happens. Dude, this guy is going to get hurt pretty damn quick. Like, you can't be giving this dude almost 30 touches a game in the middle of, like, he's not just running, like, outside routes. Like, half those runs are in between the tackles. He is not going to be able to run through them. That's why they had Mark Ingram. That's why they brought in Jamal Williams, right? For this specific reason. So he doesn't have to do that. And obviously with Williams out, that obviously made quite a bit of difference, but only 1.2 yards after contact. That is terrible, right? He's not making people miss. You need space, right? You need space for him to make all those moves, all those cuts. Can't really do those in between the tackles. It ain't going to work. You got to put those shoulder pads down, and you got to try to run through some guys, get some extra yards after the touch. And I think this is the game that we do it. So I would take this to 13.5. And I think that'd be my lowest number I'd take it at. I'm hoping DraftKings opens that up a little juice on the under there. But, yeah, I would be – I was very surprised to see this number this low after back-to-back hits of where it was. And he got, 19 and 22 carries in the last two games, and they open it at 14.5. Those are the games where you're just like, oh, shit. They know something. This dude is not explosive. What did you say his longest rush was, like 12?
It's 12. It's 12.
That's disgusting. Like, you're going to get booed off the field, bro, if you keep trying to do it. If you keep trying to run the ball up the middle, get 2 yards a pop, you're going to get booed off. Like, this coach already is ass. Like, we've already talked about it. And now you're going to try and show a worse brand of football? You're trying to show a worse brand of football than that? I think that's what it's going to look like today unless they start airing it out a little bit.
Yeah, and at first I didn't really care about Jamal Williams, to be honest. Like, we kind of talked about it a little before the show. I don't really care about that. But the more you start thinking about it, you're like, Kamara has sucked in between the tackles so far this year, and that's obviously never been his specialty in his career. He was kind of one of the OG like scat backs turned 3-down running back workhorse, which made him such an awesome fantasy asset. But as we know, the window on these running backs is unfortunately not super long, and they don't stay at that elite production rate for very long. And we're already kind of seeing the drop off. You obviously mentioned the yards after contact numbers are very bad. I was just looking at it. He's in the same little bubble as Alexander Madison, Joshua Kelly, Josh Jacobs. Surprising entry into that. Yeah, but it's like O-line obviously plays into that with Jacobs, but these guys just aren't getting yards after contact. They're not getting those explosive runs, which is obviously the number one indicator of, are we going to keep giving you the ball, right? If you're not doing anything, we can't keep giving you the ball. And like you mentioned, Campbell out on the outside will obviously be good for the passing game right here. I agree. Everyone in the world is kind of doing what I did and turning to the receptions. And it's interesting to see nobody then just play the under on rush attempts, or rush yards or whatever, even though that's part of the analysis there. So I like this look. I'm riding with you right here. I would not be surprised to see a nice little 12 for 36 with, even more yards through the air.
Yeah, no. And that's what I'm saying. We want to be different, right? We're trying to be different a little bit on these spots, trying to give you the best spots. And that's the thing is, you did do like the same thing. We're talking about the same thing. We're doing the same exact thing, just in different ways, and that's what makes it work, right? That's, again, I know we say this a lot, but we do not talk about plays until we're about 10 minutes to coming on here. We don't do that. It makes it a little bit more impromptu, right? A little bit more where you get a little more arguments out of us, a little bit more spots where we get to go at it a little bit there. Love Kamara receiving in this spot, especially with the O-line injuries. Exactly. Bobby, I would play that for 1 unit. I'm going to be playing 14.5 at 1.5. I already sent that out this morning. So I would play that at 1. That's just sitting down there, man. I don't think it can go any lower than that, can it?
No, I don't think so. And to be honest, I guess no one's going to be betting the over, or maybe some people were. I don't know, but it can't get any
14.5. 14.5 picked up on DraftKings. Sorry. I just saw it pop up. It just opened up minus 130 now on DraftKings. So go hit that shit.
Okay, there we go. That's good. I was going to say, I didn't think the Williams news would actually change the number, to be honest. Or if it did, it would take a couple hours of people betting it first. You know what I mean? But hey, we're here early, so you don't got to worry about that.
And no one's degenning like us. They're all at work, bro. All those people about to throw that money all at work right now. We're grinding still. So we like that. Fuck. Are you good with not talking about this game anymore outside of some questions?
Yeah, I'm good with it. Hit the questions, keep it moving.
Yeah, I'm good with this not talking about it anymore. Goddamn. All right, looking at the under 19.5 longest reception for Michael Thomas due to a short ADOT and minimal yak stats. With Kamara back, I think he'll take some targets, and Olave and Shaheed may take all the shots. I don't mind that. I don't mind that thought process. Jacksonville really hasn't been beat deep that much either. But they're going to those two. Those two are going to be their big play guys. So I do like this look. 19.5 does seem a little high.
Yeah, I agree. Actually, I think this is a really sharp call right here. I like playing the under longest reception, as you guys know. I think this is definitely a really good call. I mean, you kind of nailed it right here. Obviously, the slot routes are going to indicate that really short ADOT, and then he really hasn't had that yak ability since coming back from injuries, which makes sense when you miss like 3 straight years with injury, right? So I like this spot a lot. It's rare you get an offense that's so defined that Shaheed and Olave are clearly the deep threats. Like if a ball is going 25 yards down the field, it's not Michael Thomas. It's one of those two guys, or Alvin Kamara, breaking a long route right there on the receiving game. So I like this spot. I think that's a good call right there, and it aligns with the game script we've been talking about.
Yeah, and I like how he almost devil advocates himself with the injuries as well, and it still finds a way under. I just don't think he's that explosive anymore, man. He runs great routes. Gets his spots, goes down. Kind of reminds me of like that Tyler Lockett, right? Doesn't want to take that hit. Just get down. Right?
You killed it. Fuck. I should have said that. God damn, you stole my thunder right there. I was thinking the exact thing right there. Yeah, I don't know if you guys saw the montage of Tyler Lockett falling down before contact is an all-time great. Like you would never notice with just the eye test, but when you put it all together, it's so funny.
And that one will lead right into our next one. Jay Wells talking about receptions. Kirk, if you had to pick one, would you be rolling with Christian Kirk or Michael Thomas? Can't take both.
That's tough. Well, I guess I'll go Kirk because I like the thing about Thomas that's good is the low ADOT, and we always talk about that. You want those checkdowns. I don't think that's a terrible angle. For me, Kirk is the one interesting guy that we haven't talked about yet. But you see kills man, right? And you're going to get those opportunities in this game. That'll be interesting to see one-on-one. For me, it wouldn't be receptions. That's why I hesitated. It would be a longest reception because I want Kirk to absolutely cook man one-on-one, and that's what I'd want to bet on. So I'd go longest reception over receptions, but it would still be Kirk. I think that's an interesting name. No Zay Jones as well on the outside.
Yeah, just looking at it, 22% target share for Thomas, 23.6 for Kirk. And the thing is with Kirk is 2 of those games he's sucked. Like he didn't do nothing. But those games where he has the matchup he wants, Trevor Lawrence, it's him and Evan Ingram. First looks, if there's nothing open, it's ETN, right? That's the thing is it's almost like Ingram, ETN are the safe guys, and then you're picking between Ridley and Kirk because they just swap off games where they just pop off. So, or like a game like last week where really no one needed to pop off because ETN just cooked everybody. But I digress. I'm not trying to just back myself into a corner and make myself sound wrong, but that's usually what happens. All right, let's get to a different game, bro. Oh, God. All right, let's do some fantasy. But first, we need to get to my fantasy conundrum of the week. Again, guys, if you have one of these, drop them in the chat. If you have any more questions on Thursday Night Football, drop them in there, right? We'll get to them. We see all of them. Make sure you hit that like button as well. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We got to get over 50% of the people who watch this to be subs. I looked at that. I'm like, damn, how's that even possible? What you doing? How are you knowing when we're going live? You just clicking the YouTube link or what? From Twitter? But, hey, it's all good. All good. Let's get to Fantasy Conundrum. This is me this week. We get to swap off Burrow finally, so I don't have to fucking deal with that. I got Stafford and Geno. Stafford against Pittsburgh. Geno against Arizona. How much better of a matchup could you ask for? Stu, if you're in my position here, I'm right on the edge of playoffs. I'm sitting in that 6th spot. Guy I'm playing has a ton of buys. I have a ton of buys, so this is a big spot for me. I need this win. We're both the same record. Moves me into the playoffs. If I win, I need this one. Who should I be starting at quarterback?
I think you got to go Geno right here. And I've had some criticism against Geno so far this season.
You're a hater, bro.
Well, the thing is, I tried to not be a hater before the season started. I converted, actually, to a Geno Smith fan The problem is he just hasn't done anything like fan worthy yet. It's just been kind of solid. But this is the get right defense. The Arizona Cardinals has been the get right defense for every quarterback so far this season. It's like the ultimate get right game. They play a lot of soft quarters. They play a lot of, softer coverage. You get those dink and dunk opportunities. And then we know Gino's going to take a deep shot or two right here, especially with those weapons he's got. JSN is finally starting to look better in this offense. He was more involved last week. That tends to happen with rookies after the bye week. They look more refreshed. For me, I think Stafford just doesn't have the upside. I think he's the safer floor right here. But at the end of the day, I think Gino could really cook, especially in the red zone. That's where this Cardinals defense really struggles, is that red zone D. So I'd go Gino right here, and you just got to hope Kenneth Walker doesn't vulture 3 touchdowns for you.
Yeah, fuck Kenneth Walker, bro. Fuck Kenneth Walker. Just loves just to be a vulture, bro. Yeah, I have him in there at the moment. I do have Gino in there. I also do have DK Metcalf, which makes it a little bit easier for me to want to stack that up a little bit. But man, dude, just I'm going to be talking about him in a second when we talk about our high end guys. But just like what these number one receivers have done to the Cardinals is baffling. It's crazy. It's just so bad. That defense is so bad. But all right, time to some DFS. I know, like I said, we got a hard deadline today. Got to get you guys in, out, and get you on your way on this Thursday. Get those plays locked in. Let's go to some cheap guys. And I'm telling you, when we say cheap guys, we are on the bottom of the barrel this week. Scrape it up 2,700 and 3,700 guys. I mean, you can play the studs, baby. You roll with what we're playing here.
Yeah, no, I'm going Michael Mayer. I wouldn't say he had a breakout last week. He had enough of a breakout to get on people's radars. But I think this week against the Chicago Bears may actually be breakout season right here. We've obviously seen a lot of tight ends have success against him so far. But really the key to me is you got to be on the field before anything else matters right here. And he had a 60% snap share last week, or 67% snap share, which is obviously his career high so far. What I've really liked, though, I don't know if you've noticed, you probably haven't watched the Raiders games, he's being targeted immediately off the bat. He has 2 first drive targets in back-to-back games, which I know sounds like nothing. It does sound like it matters. But to me, that shows that the first drive is arguably the first quarter are your scheduled plays from your offensive coordinator, right? Before anything goes off script, before the game script can mess up your play calling strategy, that's what you've planned on all week, right? Is getting these certain guys involved. And to me, seeing Mayer involved heavily in the first drive in back-to-back weeks is giving me a lot of hope that that's going to continue in the coming weeks. And as these rookie tight ends, because that's a historical thing. Obviously, Laporta's kind of breaking the mold so far this year, but historically, tight ends do not produce early on. It's one of the more slow producing positions. You need a little bit more time because you're not just a wide receiver, you're an inline blocker at times as well, right? Which is a little harder than it sounds for the people watching at home. So I like that we're finally getting on the field. I like that we're being targeted early. And last week he was finally showing out. We should have Jimmy G still, or actually, sorry, it's Hoyer, right? That should be who's at quarterback.
I think so.
I saw Jimmy G had the questionable tag, but I'm pretty sure it's Hoyer. Honestly, Hoyer didn't look that bad last game. He instantly came in and threw a bomb, which was hilarious. But I don't know if you saw that. But it's going to be low-level quarterback play no matter what. But what happens when we see low-level quarterback play? You rely on the tight end. You check down. You're not taking these crazy shots. You're finding that reliable guy that's right there down for you. And at 2,700, 3 for 30 is pretty much paying this off. And to me, that feels like the floor. I think we got a little bit of potential right here. Once we get in the red zone, this is the Bears we're talking about. Terrible defense. Lots of scoring opportunities. I think this could be the breakout week for Notre Dame's Michael Mayer.
Yeah, no, and I think the guy who takes the hit is Jacoby Myers because you get, dude, Jacoby Myers get targeted with dudes on him when he got Jimmy G. He's just forcing it to him. Hoyer ain't going to do that. Hoyer ain't getting into that small window. So obviously that 30% target share gets split up a little bit. Don't mind that Mayer anymore. Spot. I had a lot of them in best ball. I was hating it for a while, but finally cracked that lineup last week, and we're happy about it. So obviously do like that spot at that price against the Bears. I mean, if Jimmy G is going to get hurt, this is the game to do it, right? I mean, you should win this game. You still got Josh Jacobs. My only concern is Devontae Adams has literally come out and said, give me the fucking ball or I'm going to just be done with you guys. He literally just said, So, like, if I'm Brian Hoyer, dude, I'm throwing about 55% of my targets to fucking Devontae Adams. I don't care if he's double covered, triple covered. He's open. right? Jamar Chase said it. If you throw it to me, I'm open. I'll be open, and it's tough for me to want to even be the backup. Dude, he could just say, hey, this guy throws me the ball more. You better start Brian Hoyer or I walk. He throws me the ball 50% of the time.
Hey, we just need to cash in on that other 50%. The 2,700, baby, Devontae Adams double covered downfield. That's opening up checkdowns day in and day out. I agree. Jacoby Myers takes the hit. We love him on the show. He's our guy. But
we only need Jimmy G, though.
If I'm Devontae Adams and I'm splitting a target share, a guy has a higher target share than me, I would be mad too. I mean, that's freaking Devontae Adams. Like, I love Jacoby, but yeah, you got to get him the ball. So I agree.
I think it's karma, bro. I do think it's karma. I think it's kind of funny. I think it's hilarious, actually. Because, bro, when he played if he played right now for Jordan Love, that man be pushing 45%, probably 50% target share. Bro, 30% to Christian Watson's a joke. That dude's never open, and now he'll throw it to him 30%. So I think it's just kind of funny because he's like, oh, I want to go here. I'll take even pay cut. And then, so I'm letting my bias come in. All right, Darius Slayton. Talk about bias. I got a bias for deep threats against Washington, baby. That's what my bias is. And what I really liked to see last week and what I was not expecting was he almost had a 20% target share last week, 19%. Obviously, it's different because I bet you I'm going to check Wandale's because Wandale just fucking, he had 26%. But it's the value targets, right? It's the ones that can get you points. That's what we're looking for, right? 25.8 yards, air yards per reception there, 4.8 for Wandale, right? That's all you need to know. Wandale can catch 4 catches, and Darius Slayton will outscore him on one play for 1 catch, right? That's literally what we're looking for. We're looking for a ball beat deep, and we talk about on here. You know as well as I do. You want those balls deep down the field against Washington. Dude, they give it up to everyone. Desmond Ridder, 300-piece these boys last week. Desmond Ridder, the guy that Arthur Smith, arguably the worst coach ever, is saying, oh, man, you're doing all this shit. And they still end up with 300 yards. He ended up with 300 yards, and this dude's getting chirped by a coach who doesn't even know how to pass the football. And he's still going for 300. So sign me up. I'm going to be on Darius Slayton. 3,700 is disrespectful. Wan'Dale Robinson's price is going up, which is understandable, but I want those valuable targets, man. I want those valuable ones. 2 plays over 20 yards, 1 play over 30 yards last week. That's good for me, especially when we're looking for that 100-yard bonus. If we get a 100-yard bonus at 3,700, that fire flame is about the entire screen on that shit.
Yeah, and I mean, too, obviously, if anyone's looked in the past, the Giants and Daniel Jones absolutely demolished Washington. If you took Daniel Jones' stats against Washington out of his regular game log, you would legitimately downgrade him a couple of tiers. Like, I'm not, like, I know you laugh when I say that, but people have done it. Like, on Washington fans are obsessed with this. We know if you take the stats out against the Washington games, his career numbers are legitimately significantly worse. Like, he destroys us. And the thing is, we don't know if he's going to be starting. He could be out. Like I mentioned before the show, all of Tyrod Taylor's high-value targets were to Darius Slayton. The game on the line, he threw it to Darius Slayton. The deep ball in the first quarter, they converted, threw it to Darius Slayton. Like, that was his guy. They clearly showed a chemistry last week, and like you mentioned, Washington sucks downfield. So I like this spot a lot. I'll be playing both these guys. And Wandale, he did not practice as well. He did not practice, questionable. We know this guy barely plays. So if he's out, it becomes even better.
It's crazy, though. When he plays, he's nice. He's out there. He does his thing, dude. Quick thing just on our pick. My Kamara play is down at minus 145, guys. So if you're not doing it, grab it now, please. If you want, I mean, you could throw it in like a parlay too and just throw it with like under 14.5 rush attempts and then throw it with like Travis Etienne 50 alternate rushing receiving yards for like minus 1,000 and just make it at like minus 120. Something like that. Just because like it's starting to get up there to a point where I would not even play it. But I guess it pays to just watch it here because I'm literally watching it just go straight down right now. So,
yeah, and I just want to say too, Caesars and MGM move a lot slower than DraftKings. So always check if the line's moving. Always check those other spots first because they move like 40 minutes slower because no one bets on those apps and everyone bets on DraftKings. So that's a little hack right there if you're not used to it already.
Perfect. Let's go to some high end guys, Stu. Let's roll with it.
Sounds good. Short and simple right here. I'm going Bijan Robinson. I think this could be the breakout week. I know he's had some solid ones. The end zone is really what we're worried about right here. The Algier kind of vulturing those touchdowns is a little concerning. We have to expect this offense to look a little bit better. And an interesting stat I read, EPA per play, the Buccaneers 4th best rush defense in the league. You're like, oh shit, that's really good. Why? I don't want to play against them, obviously. But when you look at success rate, they're only the 18th best success rate in the league against rushing teams. And when you look, against running backs. And when you look closely, that EPA per play is generated by fumbles and turnovers. So they've been good at forcing turnovers against opposing running backs, but they actually haven't been amazing at slowing them down. They just haven't played anyone good. Like I just talked about a little while ago, it's Miles Sanders, it's Jamal Williams and Tony Jones Jr. You know what I mean? Like their rushing schedule has been so easy that I think this rush defense is inflated a lot. Obviously, still a solid unit. It's going to be around the 15th best rush defense in the league. But I will warn you, if you're looking at EPA per play and stuff like that, make sure you compare it to other stats as well, because stuff can be generated in a non-traditional way that you may not be thinking about. I think that's going to drive down the Bijan ownership. People are going to look at it and go, Tampa Bay, I don't want to fucking play running back against Tampa Bay. It never works, right? Which is a fair thought process. We got to remember there's been some turnover year to year. And finally, Bijan Robinson is a wide receiver too, right? I mean, at the end of the day, the running production is obviously good. You want as much of that as possible. He's given you a 5-reception floor. That's insane. We don't see anyone else doing that. And obviously, we know running back receiving is a go-to against Tampa Bay with that line, historically being very strong right here. I think he can do it in multiple ways. He's going to have one of those 2-touchdown games eventually, and I'd want to bet on it when he's at low ownership rather than super chalk ownership against like the Texans or something like that. So getting Bijan as a discount at low ownership is something I will definitely sign up for this week.
Yeah, you expect Josh Jacobs probably to bring in a lot of ownership. You probably expect Kenneth Walker in those matchups, right? Getting Chicago there. I'm expecting Austin Eckler to be probably close to 25% against in that game, right? You want to bet on that game, right? Everybody's gonna be watching that game, so why not bet on it, right? So that's against the Chiefs in Arrowhead, right? So it's like there's a lot of high-end backs that are there, and I think Bijan might be the one that slipped through the cracks, especially now you got no Montgomery. Kyrian Williams out. There's a lot of value on the slate yet as well. So I'm going to be rolling Bijan, or not Bijan. I wrote Bijan on the DK Metcalf. I expect his target share to go up here pretty soon. He's at 21% target share. But he is at 20 air yards per reception, which I think is very important, especially with the 100-yard bonus in this matchup, right? And what have we seen from some deep threats here in these games, right? The number one receivers in deep threats, right? Jalen Hyatt went for 90 yards on these dudes.
Yep.
Jalen Hyatt, dude. Like, come on. That's what Daniel Jones throwing him the damn ball, right? I don't count Washington because Washington had Sam Howell's first game, right? It was his first game. So I won't look into it that much. But then you go to the Cowboys, right? Michael Gallup went for 90 yards on these dudes. Then you go down, it's number one receivers going off. 148 for Brandon Ayuk. Jamar Chase, 3 tutties, right? Then you go last week, Cooper Kupp just got force-fed. Absolutely force-fed for 148 and a touchdown. Number one receivers cook. Deep threats cook on this defense. And if I'm going to a spot, DK Metcalf has been very vocal, like even on the sideline about getting the ball. Like, who's going to stop him? Like, truly, who's going to stop him? Like, if you're going to give him, I think he should be getting 25, 30% of the target share. At least get this ball down the field. Stretch this defense. Geno has a good deep ball, and all I need is 1 or 2 of those to get caught, and we're in business, right? You're automatically going to be rolling here, especially at 6,800, man, right? Cooper Kupp is 9,600, right? That is huge, right? That's like me like Bijan going down. If you go down, that's 4,500. A 2,800 difference is going down to 4,800. It's like betting on Ronnie Rivers, bro. Bijan to Ronnie Rivers is what you're going to tell me DK is to Cooper Kupp, bro? Like,
yeah.
When you put it in like perspectives like that, it's baffling to me how he's only 6,800, under 7K in a matchup like this. I understand only 21%, but I expect that shit to go up.
Well, and DK has slate breaking upside. That's what we know about him, because there's so few wide receivers in the NFL that can combine that deep threat ability and the red zone ability, which is really obviously what you want for those blow up games. We've seen Chase destroy them in the red zone, Cooper Kupp destroy them in the red zone. I mean, Metcalf has 2 touchdown potential in this one, and you can't ignore that at 6,800. So I don't know. I didn't think too much about this game before you talked about it, but after. I mean, I think I'm going to be Geno, Metcalf, JSN stacks, and then I think I'm going to be running some Metcalf solo as well, because that's a good point. You really don't want to miss out on that 2 touchdown games because you can't win those big field tournaments if you're missing out on that.
Okay, I have to bring this up because I don't know what the fuck is going on. Why is that game only a 44.5 total?
That's a good question. Maybe the offense on the other side, there's just no faith in them at all, right? Down your starting running back. It looked rough last week. That could be.
They got Michael Wilson though, bro. I like him.
Solid run back. Can't hate.
Dude, he's just. I mean, he's so cheap, bro. All he needs to do is catch 2 passes. Damn.
Yeah, that's fair.
Eagles. Would you have guessed that the Eagles? We'll talk about this on tomorrow, but the Packers-Broncos game has a higher total than that game. But the Chargers-Chiefs at 48 and the Miami game at 52. That's wild to me. That's a 4-point difference on that. That's wild. We'll talk about it tomorrow, but damn.
I was gonna say,
I might be getting my Seattle over.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm fired up for tomorrow as well. Not the greatest slate overall, but some good games in it. Those ones you just hit on are obviously going to be very fun for fantasy and betting. So hopefully you enjoyed today. But hey, we're right back here tomorrow. That's the beautiful part about going live on Thursday. You don't have a 2-day gap between seeing our faces up here. We'll be right back tomorrow, 1 p.m. EST, for an awesome slate. I'm super excited. I honestly want to fire off some plays right now. I don't know about you. That Travis Kelce, 6.5 receptions. It's looking pretty freaking good. I don't know if that's going to be around for too long. So lots to like this weekend. Obviously, hopefully tune back with us tomorrow. We got a lot more to talk about.
Yeah, I was hitting them at 7.5, bro, and I was content playing those at like -110. But hey, it is what it is. All right, recap coming in a second. We got one question here again. Do you like Olave yards or receptions better? We got our guy Indigo. How do you? Is it? Is that? I don't know how I'm supposed to. I think it's Indigo BB. Baby, maybe I don't know.
Yeah,
we'll do it like that. Olave, a guy I like to play because of his route tree for and I mean you look at his longest reception today. I was just looking at that. It was like 23.5, man. So I wouldn't assume it's 60 to 63, right? Is his yards right now?
Yeah, I would play yards, 100%. Yeah, exactly what you said right there. Always yards over receptions guy for me. Nothing wrong with receptions. You can obviously hit both, but when you're betting, right, you don't always have that guarantee. And if he's going to hit one with his downfield usage, it's going to be yards a vast majority of the time, especially like we said earlier. Kamara and Michael Thomas are awesome checkdowns. You don't have to look to your downfield wide receiver for that role right there.
Love it. I love it. I love it. I'm a Olave fantasy owner in one of my bigger leagues, so need him to show out today. Kamara, I have him and Ingram and McManus spread throughout. So hopefully it's 200 yards Olave, 150 on 15 catches for Ingram, and the game ends up 15-10. 5 field goals for the Jaguars, and McManus scores me 30. So that'd be ideal for your boy here, just to get up pretty big in the leagues there. But let's get a recap in here and get it rolling.
Sounds good. Got my favorite play of the game, maybe my only play of the game tonight. We're going Alvin Kamara, 4 receptions. Travis Etienne, 2 receptions, -109 over on FanDuel Sportsbook.
Yep, and I'll be on Kamara under 14.5 rush attempts. If you want, I know it's moving heavy right now. Throw in like I said, you can just throw ETN 50 total yards, and it's like it gets it down to like -120 from where it is at now. But yeah, it opened back up at like -125, -130, and now it's already down to -145. So, like I said, we say it every week. Pays to watch the show, and it pays to be in here live. We appreciate all you guys joining us as always, and we'll see you tomorrow. Back at our normal time, obviously not the early one here, but lock those plays in, guys. Stu, you got anything else for the people here before we head out?
Yeah, not much. I mean, follow obviously both of us on Twitter as listed below. That's where everything flows through. But yeah, a little bit of a more quiet day for me in the Thursday night props. But I don't think I can wait to fire off on some of these Friday ones. We're gonna have a good show tomorrow. But make sure you're following on Twitter if you want, obviously, every play ASAP, because I think I'll have some weekend plays today.
Love it, love it, love it. Have the notification bell on, guys. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button on your way out. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll be back tomorrow at noon for our big Friday show tomorrow, coming at you guys for week 7.